Anakin Skywalker turned evil at age 23 and died at age 46. He spent half his life in the light and half in the dark. Balance. Then he spent another 23 years a Force ghost, just to hit 69. Half his life undercooked, half his life extra crispy. Well, the first 10 years were mostly sand, so he wasn't really on the light side yet. When did he have time to be Ashoka's master? Wrong. His time in the light was vastly longer due to the fact that Tatooine orbited 2 suns, thus double the years. Nerd face. As all things should be. I don't think he was really on the light side for all of that first 23 years. Nobody likes you when you're 23. It's like poetry. It rhymes. I thought he died at 45. As all things should be. What did he die from? That isn't how balance works. Any users of the commercial API out there? X200B. Maybe the dust has settled a little since the API repricing and third-party app showdown, so I wonder if there is any commercial user who transitioned successfully to this program, or if any new enrollments have been accepted. I don't think it's wrong to compensate Reddit for using their platform, but get the feeling that this was never intended to get off the ground due to focus on their developer platform and hosting everything on their own infrastructure. Archive paginate entire subreddit. Hello, wondering if there is a way to archive an entire subreddit. Currently trying to use paginate via submissions params after posted. Limit none, but the issue is that it gets stuck after a certain ID. That ID is always the last returned post, even if I set that to after posted. Is there a way to bypass this using another method, or is there a better way? Brain freeze is one of the most painful physical sensations, but no one cares since it always lasts a few seconds. You ever yawn too big and muscle cramp the bottom of your that shit makes me tear up? Not even close to kidney stone pain. Never kicked a table leg with your pinky toe, have you? Brain freeze is near the top of your worst pain list. You've been lucky not to be that guy. But brain freeze barely registers on the pain scale. Exhale through your mouth, not your nose. It warms the roof of your mouth, reducing the brain freeze. Have you ever actually felt real pain? Brain freeze isn't even top 30. One of the most painful physical should count your lucky stars that you think freeze doesn't even make the top 10 for me. Every woman who's ever given birth is rolling their eyes at up right now. Not even top 5 for me. It's not even remotely close to being that painful. It's a small headache at best. It just hits you out of nowhere. Countries that want people to have more kids seem to really like making everything involved in that decision really expensive. I would like to have a house with several bedrooms to shelter my family. No problem, only $720,000, cash offers only, price non-negotiable. This is flipped around, people don't have kids because things are expensive, but the government needs people to keep having children to prop up the tax base. Unethical life pro tip for government's population decline has fewer downsides if the elderly of your country decide to retire in the halls of Poseidon, or illegal. I live in Switzerland and lived in Germany before this. The only place we two men could have a child through surrogacy is the United States, because it might not be recognized as legally our child if it were born somewhere else. It is illegal in most of the EU. Adoption just recently became legal, and I am sure LGBTQ parents are at the bottom of the list. I said to my son, "What do you call a bunch of indifferent pumpkins grown on a hill in Finland?" Fjords aren't. They're not in Finland. Norway would work better. Finland doesn't have fjords. And a hill isn't anything like a fjord. It's kind of the opposite. Awkward. Best ignored. Oh Lord. Of course your son was floored. This joke does not make any sense. When you're on life support, he might just pull your cord. Oddly specific. God, my lord, the joke I applaud. I'm a canine expert, trainer and sister teacher to Chaser the Border Collie, known internationally as the smartest dog in the world, and author of For the Love of Dog, the ultimate relationship guide. AMA, is it really true that dogs can't be spiteful? I've met some very smart dogs that definitely make me question that sentiment. One dog specifically would always purposefully poop on a family member's bed after he left for work, and only that family member, and always after he left home for a significant portion of the day. Hi, do you think it's possible to raise a dog from a young age to be more affectionate, or is that something that's solely determined by a dog's nature? I have young kids and I've heard mixed reviews about whether it's okay to get a dog now, or whether I should wait until all the kids are older, would likely be in a decade or so. What are your thoughts? On a personal level, what are some of your favorite films? Jim and Edna are both mental patients. One day Jim jumps into the swimming pool but doesn't come up for air. Quick as a flash, Edna sees her friend in trouble, so dives in and pulls him out. Well, don't just leave him hanging. I find this offensive because I'm crazy, but I would never hang someone in the bathroom to dry. There's just not enough ventilation. That's Edna for you. Oh, Edna, how soon can I go home? As someone who has spent some time in a psychiatric facility, I love this humor has perhaps paradoxically saved me from darkness a few times. Some users unable to log in. Hi, I've recently switched from an installed app to a web app as part of the transition to using the paid API. As a result, my users need to re-authenticate. The vast majority can log in fine, but some are experiencing issues. Some users have two accounts and can log in fine on one and not with the other. I use this URL to launch the OAuth flow. Users state they can log in and get to the page which asks whether they'd like to grant the app access to their account. When they click the accept button, they are redirected to this page. Has there been any changes to the login page which may break things for some users? Thanks. Till 601 Lexington Avenue. Once the 7th tallest building in the world was in danger of being toppled over by high winds due to a structural error. It was secretly fixed and the public had no idea anything was wrong until an article about it came out decades later. The most amazing part is how the structural shortcomings were identified. It was by a student as part of a university assignment. I worked at that building in the 90s and read the article when it came out. Yikes. But it's not true that nobody knew about the building's problems. People had noted the swaying. There were reports of it. I think the article mentions that, before the article came out. The New Yorker article was confirmation of the neighborhoods. I think there was film footage of the swaying. Till Julius Caesar was believed to have almost superhuman multitasking skills, and was effective at reading, writing and dictating or listening simultaneously. I'm not even going to bother opening that because I'm 99% certain that it's going to be some bollocks written by Pliny the Elder. He was also incredible at golf, a feat often associated with modern-day dictators, but unusual at the time, as the sport would not be invented for another 1,500 years. Yeah, that's most likely bullshit propaganda. However, the dictator didn't multitask fast enough to avoid 60 or more Roman senators trying to kill him. According to my Latin teacher, it was basically just that he could read in his head. At the time, nearly everything was read aloud, and silent reading was considered a huge feat. I heard he also had a really big dick and totally sexed all the ladies.
Till Michael Sheen is a not-for-profit actor. He donates his earnings to charity and sold his houses to further fund charitable causes. Prodigal Son and Good Omens were both amazing shows. He does seem committed to a number of charities, and unlike other big names, he's working with existing organizations, so it's not just a huge tax grab for his own private NPO. Seems like a genuinely good human. Angel in real life too, I guess. He was absolutely stunning, in every sense of the word, in Good Omens. This is absolutely amazing to find out about. Oh, Liz Lemon's something. How does he sustain himself? His relationships section on Wikipedia is also quite the ride.
Till Peter Norman, the white athlete standing on the podium in 1968 while Tommy Smith and John Carlos gave the Black Power salute, was not selected to run in the 1972 Olympics for supporting his fellow athletes. He was not welcomed at the 2000 Olympics because he refused to renounce his actions. Didn't Tommy or John or both act as pallbearers for him? He also lent them his gloves, which is why one is doing it righty and the other is doing it lefty. Even after reading the Wikipedia article, I'm not clear on what they expected this guy to do. Why the hell were they still holding a grudge against him as late as the year 2000? Till that Terry Pratchett changed German publishers because Hain inserted a soup advert into the text of one of his novels and wouldn't promise not to do it again. It's the wouldn't promise they wouldn't do it again that gets me. Harlan Ellison mailed a dead gopher to his publisher because they published cigarette ads next to his. He also mailed another publisher 213 bricks. Postage too. I'm picturing an embedded into the story ad that breaks the fourth wall. Kevin and Sam vowed to never be friends again. The only thing that could reunite them would be our sponsor, Campbell's Soup. Campbell's brings people together, and has been for 200 years. Kevin loved Campbell's. But could it bring this ill-fated friendship back? Let's check back in with the characters to see. Totally get why you would not want that as an author. But from what little I know of his work, it seems like a random out-of-place soup ad might have been his sense of humor. This is a novel, not a soap opera. Till that the all-time most successful songwriter after Lennon-McCartney is a Swedish guy named Max Martin. He looks like Hyde the Pain Herald. This guy wrote the Britney Spears song but misunderstood English slang "Hit Me Baby One More Time." Swedish guy named Max Martin. He's kind of a legend in the music industry. I always wondered if there was something in the water because so many talented musicians and songwriters come from Sweden. But they just had better music programs for the younger kids in school. Embarrassed smiley face. He pretty much invented modern-day pop music. Wow. Katy Perry owes much of her career to this guy. Homie wrote Teenage Dream? That is my biggest guilty pleasure song. I don't really like top 40 music, but this guy is clearly a legend. Till the iconic cutoff sweatshirt look for 1983's Flashdance was created on accident. Actress Jennifer Beals accidentally left her favorite sweatshirt in the dryer too long and shrunk it. She cut out the neck hole in order to fit her head through and went to a wardrobe fitting. The director loved it. Then 11-year-old me cut the neck off all my sweatshirts, and my mom about killed me. I learned from this movie how to take my bra off without taking my shirt off. Great trick. By accident. It's great when things are created by accident. It must have been huge when even after that supposed shrinking it still looks oversized. Also kinda hard to shrink cotton sweatshirts. Not impossible but still. I'm calling BS on this made-up factoid. Turns out guys like the bare shoulder look. Or any skin on a pretty girl in general. What is something that smells great but isn't perfume? Baking bread, a cool autumn morning, apple pie, baking in the fresh cut grass, rain, sautéing onions and garlic, brewing coffee, books, vanilla, honey, wood. Hear me out. Cotton clothes drying in the sun, that smell that hits you as soon as you walk into a pizzeria, bacon that is currently being fried, petrichor, that earthy smell you get when it rains, campfire, the smell of a woodworking shop, cinnamon, pine needles, cedar, oranges or orange blossoms, sautéing garlic and onions in olive oil, petrol. What is the worst thing you have ever seen at a strip club? At a low-ranked strip club. I was drinking a Bud Long Neck. I was by the stage. Dancer came over, turned around to me and pulled her thong to lower herself onto my beer bottle. Right up the old poop chute. Maybe a foot from my face. I was appalled. But not as appalled as when the greasy biker next to me asked if I wanted that beer anymore. When I told him no, he grabbed the beer bottle and proceeded to vigorously lick the neck while staring at the stripper. Roxy Shower in East St. Louis. Girl held onto a pole and went spread eagle. Another girl fisted her violently for about a minute before she squirted all over the glass. Announcer said anyone throws a 20 in and she will do it in her ass. No one threw in a 20. What is your kryptonite? Removes glasses. Kryptonite, bullets. Apparently slutty women with daddy issues and bipolar disorder. Man shrugging, man shrugging, man shrugging. A little thing I like to call cocaine. Worn down erasers. If you pick up an eraser, and there's even the slightest chance that the eraser is worn down and the metal ring might rub the paper, even if I'm across the room I will get epic nuclear heebie-chills down my spine and be useless to humanity for 5-10 minutes. God, I'm all clenched just typing that. Gluten. I have celiac. Clearly the concept of kryptonite is not clear for everyone on this sub. Getting stabbed. Man, that drops me fast. Wet socks. What tastes so good you can't believe it's healthy? Ripe strawberries. Blueberries. Also salmon. I might be a bear. Raspberries are always amazing. A cold Honeycrisp apple on a hot day. Pico de gallo. It's easy to make and doesn't need a lot. Makes anything you're making so good. Fruits in general, to be honest. Roasted broccoli. Lil Holy Trinity on there: salt, pepper, garlic burr and some olive oil. Roast in the oven and it comes out crispy. Hoo-wee, that's good. Lemons. Yes, I know I'm crazy. Watermelon. Perfectly ripe peaches, raspberries, and fresh delicious carrots. Ceviche. Especially with avocados. I could live on it. Redskin Spanish peanuts. Pistachios. Juicy nectarines with tahini seasoning. A well-made chopped salad. I'm not sure if that's big everywhere, but in Chicago a chopped salad is everything. Salsa. Mango. Ice water.